What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, and welcome to episode 6 of our 30-part series on every single GMAX Pokemon. Every episode, I have a guest on the channel to discuss how to use a specific GMAX Pokemon. We'll be going over stats, move pools, potential teammates, impact on the Sword and Shield Draft League meta, and at the end, give it a ranking. Once the series is over, I'll be making a video covering the top 10 GMAX Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Last episode was on GMAX FLAPPLE, and if you missed it, I'd highly recommend checking it out. The link is in the description. Now, normally, I would let you guys know how to vote on which Pokemon you'd like to see next, but considering the DLC is released in the past few days, the next 3 days, including today, are going to be covering the GMAX Galar starters, starting with GMAX Inteleon. But today, we're going to be introducing our guest. He's the coach of the New Britain Rockruss and one of the most creative players that I know. Give a warm welcome to DyeItTight.
Yo, what's going on, my fellas? It's your boy DyeItTight here, and this is going to be a good one.
Inteleon is interesting. This mon is kind of crazy, got a really weird-ass design, I will say, but in terms of mons, in terms of competitive, it could do some work. So if you guys want to see more of Dye, his channel and his other links will be down in the description. And if you guys are excited for the video, make sure you leave a like on the video, and of course, comment your thoughts on GMAX Inteleon and subscribe if you enjoy competitive Pokemon content. Now, Dye, what about GMAX Inteleon stands out the most to you?
So right away, the 3 starters all have the same GMAX move, obviously different typing. But I think Inteleon's is by far the best. I think it abuses it the best with Mold Breaker through, because a lot of water absorbed Pokemon are in the Draft League meta. So the idea of having this be able to break through it, especially with a chance to crit with like a focus energy set, especially GMAX wise, I think that's a really unstoppable force.
Absolutely. GMAX Hydro Snipe being Mold Breaker in a move really creates a lot of problems because people will rely on a water immunity, whether it's Lantern, whether it's Gastrodon, Seismitoad, whatever the case may be. And GMAX Inteleon just says no. No. So I think many people who like their water types will definitely take this. Its stats, though, are kind of interesting. I love them. I think 120 speed, 125 special attack is absolutely monstrous. The rest is kind of iffy, but do you think they really benefit what you want GMAX Inteleon to do as a GMAX Pokemon, or kind of you wish it was a little bit better distributed?
I think that it hits super hard. It hits harder than I initially thought. I've never had a prep for it before, except Liv has it in evolution, an AP evolution, and I started prepping for it, and I'm like, wow, this thing actually hits super hard, especially, you know, it having a chance to be a crit set. Its bulk, again, is not good. In an ideal world, it would be extra bulky, but it's a glass cannon. It does glass cannon things. 120 speed is very good, especially it has access to max airstream, so it can actually keep boosting its speed, so you can focus more on defenses if you really wanted. Base 65s with the base 70 HP is pretty lackluster, but I think doubling the HP is going to help it a lot.
One thing that is important to note is that in this specific meta, speed is at a premium because a lot of the Pokemon are pretty slow. A lot of the new releases that we actually had, being Zarude and the 2 Urshifus, they're only at 105 and 97 speed overall, so you're going to be able to outspeed a lot of those newer threats, which is nice. And you did mention critting, and Sniper is a great ability. If any of us remember the Critra set from a while back, that is a terrifying set, and Inteleon can do it just as well. So do you want to go ahead and talk about Sniper?
Yeah, so Sniper, I used to think that it increases your odds of critting. What it actually does is if you get a critical hit, instead of, what are crits, 1.25?
1.5, so it adds another.
With Sniper, it's 1.5, right?
I think it adds another 1.5 onto it.
Oh, wow. Wow, it's even stronger than I thought. So Critra being the focus energy scope lens set, with Inteleon doing this, it's going to be really crazy of something to run, because usually your walls can't take a critical hit from a GMAX to move.
How often do people just think, you know, I'm going to prepare for a critical hit from this thing, or 2 crits in a row? Because
yeah, exactly.
Inteleon gets focus energy, and with focus energy with a scope lens, it's a 100% chance to crit. And at base 120 speed with 125 special attack and an insanely powerful special move pool with a GMAX on top of that, come on, there's not very many things that are taking a hit. You got to run like Chansey or Blissey or something for that.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to really try to sponge this thing. I'm trying to think, like, even like Shaman's not taking.
Honestly, what Inteleon does the best is break, and it does that so damn well. A lot better than I think the other 2 Galar starters, but that is pretty much it, I would say, in terms of what it does better than those 2. But in terms of move pool, this thing, we mentioned it before, ice, flying, water. It also gets Dark Pulse and Shadow Ball, which are very nice to hit those psychic types and those ghost types. You have Mudshot if you want to deal with an electric type or a steel type, which, again, it's not going to be the most useful thing in the world, but it is there.
It could be niche.
Exactly, and niche hits are important, especially in Draft League when you really are preparing for what your opponent can bring. You're not really going to be running a dual screen set on GMAX Inteleon like you would if it was a regular set. Do you think there's any viability in running a physical set, though, with its base 85 attack?
It all depends. Does it get SD? It does get SD. So, again, it's Draft League. Anything's possible. I've seen crazier things. Again, if you run an SD, you get your item knocked off, so your acro, because I'm thinking that I'm thinking about GDL style, where it's just holding the Pokeball, or like how we did in Academy. So, you know, you get an SD, maybe you GMAX and get the acrobatics boost to hit that grass type, and then you get a water move. I really like see that thing going crazy. Again, even you have U-turn, so that turns into the bug move. Even Fell Stinger. I didn't know we got Fell Stinger. That's crazy. You know, late game, you let it come in. You think your foe's going to stack them on just to like a quick like water move. You hit it with a Fell Stinger. Next thing you know, with your +3 physically.
Absolutely. Its physical moveset isn't the best, but running a physical set is always viable with 85 attack and Swords Dance, and at the same time, you get access to 3 different priority options in Ice Shard, Aqua Jet, and Sucker Punch, which all have the different uses depending on what situation you're in, and you never know what could happen in Draft League. Now, were there any potential partners, any Pokemon that you would like to pair this with that fit the roles that Inteleon needs to be filled for it to be successful?
So I can't think of a specific Pokemon that Inteleon could use to really help, but the kind of role it might need is, so Inteleon gets U-turn, so if it can U-turn out into something to take advantage of, I'm trying to think of things that would counter Inteleon, and what I'm thinking is like a strong grass type, even a fast electric type, something Zeraora could try to break it down. So if you had like an Intimidator or a nice ground type, for the grass types you just need a fire type, so even something like Arcanine could be really good to pair with it.
I like that. Momentum is always the name of the game for me. I love having momentum with my GMAX Pokemon. Volt Switch, U-turn, Baton Pass, Teleport, Parting Shot, whatever it is, you name it, I will take it with my offensive Gigantamax Pokemon. But one thing I do want to point out is special wall breakers are extremely important. Inteleon having a 125 special attack is amazing, but if you can't break your opponent's team because they have a really solid special wall, then you might need a second one to really pressure that Pokemon. Something like Hydreigon, Toxtricity, Duraludon are really good because they also resist Inteleon's 2 weaknesses to Electric and Grass. Roserade is also something that I really like too because, again, very good specially offensive Pokemon, but at the same time, Toxic Spikes and regular Spikes are really solid to wear down Inteleon's checks. And then there's Volcarona. Volcarona, this thing, I mean, Inteleon and Volcarona can just sweep for each other depending on what was breaking first or what was trying to sweep second or whatever it may be. They're really strong Pokemon, and those are my, I guess, top 5 picks for offensive sweepers to pair with Inteleon.
I agree completely. I think that having a secondary, again, you mentioned Hydreigon, just having Hydreigon can run mixed so Inteleon can come in later, like, you know, catch that special wall with a physical move and get it super weakened, because then, again, the special wall is definitely not going to want to take a crit coming in. So I think that's really good. That's a really good point.
Absolutely. Now, I came up with only 2 items this time that I felt were really good on Inteleon. Obviously, there are leagues where you can only run a Pokeball or a Master Ball or some kind of Pokeball on your GMAX Pokemon, but others allow for a more free-flowing experience. Life Orb and Scope Lens were the 2 that popped into me. Life Orb because crazy damage, Scope Lens because of the crit set with Focus Energy. I didn't really think there was anything else. Were you able to find something that would be better than those 2?
Off the top of my head, the only thing I could think of was Mystic Water, but that's just matchup based, maybe an Expert Belt.
Inteleon, in my eyes, has some really good options for moves, just not the best options for items. When we talk about different GMAX Pokemon, we usually put them in different tiers, tier 1, 2, 3, and instead of doing that, I would like you to let me know where you think Inteleon lies. Do you think it is a 10 on 10 being one of the best, a 1 on 10 being one of the worst? Where do you think it fits between it and the other GMAX Pokemon?
So off the top of my head, I would probably give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think that it is going to be one of the better ones. Liv talked to me about it, and again, she really sold me on it. But then looking at what it can do compared to other GMAXs, I think this is going to be a Mon. It reminds me a lot of like GMAX Duraludon, but I think it does things a little bit better. So I think it's like an 8 out of 10.
You know, I'm cool with that. I also gave it an 8 out of 10 because when you compare it to its other GMAX counterparts, it does things really well that they don't, and that's hitting hard and hitting fast. Is there anything else that you want to mention when it came to GMAX Inteleon?
I think that this is going to need some playing with. I cannot wait to watch it in a couple of leagues because my opinion can completely change because I didn't think it was gonna be that good. I was sold on it being a tier 2, even maybe tier 3 GMAX, and then I saw what Liv was saying. I looked at it, and I think this is gonna be one of the higher tiered GMAXs.
I would agree. I mean, and if you guys are interested in watching GMAX Inteleon, Dye and I are both participating in the GDL this season. We're actually drafting right now. Unfortunately, we both don't have a GMAX Inteleon. But We are going to be playing against it this season, so hopefully we can manage to take some hits, survive the hits from that thing, because good God, if we get crit, it's going to be the end of the world with Sniper. Now, you've heard what we think, and now I would like to know from you guys. If you're watching this video, comment what is your favorite or least favorite thing about GMAX Inteleon or the GMAX mechanic in general. I would love to read your responses. Also, which GMAX Galar starter do you think is the best? Which one do you want to use first? For me, I would have to say Cinderace is at the top of my list. What about you, Dye?
I would say Rillaboom. I really want to try Rillaboom. Well, do you mean Libero Cinderace?
Libero Cinderace, yes.
Yeah, okay, then yeah, Libero Cinderace.
That thing is just so insane. I can't wait for the video on that. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for now. Hopefully you learn more about how to use GMAX Inteleon. If this is the first time you've seen some of my videos, consider subscribing. You've already made it this far in the video, so you probably enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video as well. Tomorrow, I will be back with a new guest to cover one of the other two GMAX starters, and you guys got to guess which one you think it'll be. Thanks for joining me today, Dye. I really appreciate you coming on the channel, and why don't you let the people know where they can find you?
You can go ahead and find me at youtube.com/DyeItTight, twitter.com/DyeItTight, but also make sure to stay and subscribe if you're here for me. Subscribe to Matt. He's putting a lot of work in for these GMAX videos. They come out really well. Make sure to catch the other ones if you haven't seen them. Make sure to catch his future draft league stuff. He's one of the better players I have had the privilege of playing and seeing play.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Likewise. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next time.